Hey there, welcome to Coaching Ninjas Lives. So glad you can join us today. Now, if you're new to our channel, do remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell because you want to stay tuned to our exciting videos. Every single week we come to you with new ideas, new learnings, and we want to share with you how to improve your conversations on a daily basis, one conversation at a time. Now, this whole channel is not just for coaches, but it's also for leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs. It's for parents, it's for youth to improve their conversation on a daily basis. Because one of the fundamental things that we realize is this, that if you can improve your conversation, you can improve drastically your life. You can change the course of your life as well. So today's episode, we're going to look at active listening. What on earth is active listening? And this whole process of listening, it's going to be really interesting for us to explore and we go deeper in, because many people ask me, what on earth is listening and how do we actually go deeper in this whole process? Now, I want to tell you this, that ICF defines active listening as this, that the ability to focus completely on what the client is saying and is not saying, to understand the meaning of what is said in the context of the client's desire, and to support the client's self-expression. So many people, when they hear, oh, it's another listening video again, their minds switch off. It's not another listening video, it's a video to tell you that, hey, perhaps there's something more that you can unravel in terms of the listening. There's something deeper in terms of understanding listening. And what is all that? I will share with you several strategies in today's video as well to help you to get better understanding what active listening is and how do we use our listening ability to listen beyond the words of the client and to listen to the emotions, listen to the thoughts, listen to the process of congruence with the client, listen to the entire demeanor of the client, listen to the world of the client. And that's going to be a very important process in the coaching journey. Are you ready for that? Now let's take a look at some of the strategies. Now, one of the strategies is this, to attend to the client's to attend the client and the client's agenda and not to the coach's agenda for the client. Too often, the coaches are listening to themselves rather than the client because they think that, oh, that's the way the client needs to go. So the coaches dictate where they want to be rather than the client. So remember, in active listening, it's all about the client. We're going to listen to the client and the client's agenda. Listen to the client's, what the client wants to achieve and who the client is in the process. That's going to be very important. Hearing the client's concerns, goals, values, and beliefs about what is and what is not possible. So you're hearing and unraveling what's the underlying structural belief that the client has. Because sometimes the client may have limiting thoughts and beliefs that they are not able to express out. So as a coach, we are there to listen beyond what the client is saying and to really help them unravel those things. And distinguishing between the words, the tone of voice, the body language, so to begin to unravel what's really going deeper within the client's world, what is true for them, what is not true for them. So all this process is going to be really important for them to explore. Next, it's to summarize, paraphrase, reiterate, and mirror back what the client has said to ensure clarity and understanding. So when we talk about summarizing, well, it's going to be important to summarize for the client, but we want to know how to summarize properly. We want to summarize using the client's language. So by infusing some of the client's language and summarizing for them, we're able to reflect to them in their own words what they're actually saying. Now, sometimes I may summarize with my own words as well, so that it allows the client to see the context from a different perspective, for them to see the context from a new vantage point of view, right? So now again, the intention of summary, the intention of paraphrasing must be intended to bring the client forward in the conversation, to help them move forward in conversation, help them gain better clarity about what they're really looking for in the entire conversational process. So this is going to be important. Now next, it's to encourage, accept, explore, and reinforce the client's expression of feelings, perceptions, concerns, beliefs, suggestions, and more. So really it's about when we listen to the person, sometimes when we listen to people, our face will seem to judge the client. Our very demeanor may come across as judging the client, and no wonder the client feels more hesitant to open up with you. So when we say active listening, we're also saying that they come in the conversation in a no nothing state, where we're not imposing, we're not forcing, we're not trying to push down something and push down the agenda of the client. Really opening and allowing the clients to just have an opportunity to really explore all the different facets in their life. So that's going to be very important. Okay, so encouraging, accepting, exploring, and just letting the clients know that they're being heard. And they are free to express their feelings and they're experiencing. And the next one is to integrate and build on the client's ideas and suggestions. So when we build on the client's ideas and suggestions, what we want to do as well is to think about, how do we do that for the client? How do we integrate for the client? How do we layer on the different suggestions for the client? How do How do we create those moments for the client that's going to be useful for the client? So when we hear the client's ideas, we are able to infuse into the conversation and help the client to move forward in the context, especially when they're confused in terms of the direction to go forward. The next area is to look at the bottom lines, or helping to understand the essence of the client's communication and helps the client get there rather than engaging in long descriptive stories. So the bottom line is, what is the client really looking for? What is the client perceiving? What are the, in essence, what are the client trying to drive at? Because sometimes the client may narrate a very, very long story. So we want to hear deeper, what is the key thing, the key message the client is trying to say? Because sometimes when the client is expressing out, it may take a while for them to express fully what they're trying to say before they come to the real essence or the real crux of the issue. So we want to help the client to come to the bottom line of things so that we help them to better navigate the situation. The next is also to allow the client to vent or clear situations without judgment and attachment in order to move on to the next steps. So sometimes it's really allowing the client the space to just really air the emotions out, to air their thoughts and frustrations out. And for us as a coach, it's just to remain neutral and in a know-nothing state so that we don't present a sense that we're judging them or we're forcing something on them. That's going to be very important in the process. Now we're going to look at also how do we distinguish them in the different levels of skill sets? So we're going to look at a few different layers at the ACC level, PCC, MCC level, but particularly I want all of us to look at what we call listening beyond the words and listening beyond the body language and listening at the mastery level. Okay, so let's take a look at listening at the mastery level, which is the coach listening is completely attuned as a learner, and listening happens at the logical, emotional, and organic level at one time. So you're not just listening to the sequence of events, the rational thought of the client, but listening to the what's happening logically, emotionally, and also organically one at a time. And the listening is both linear and non-linear, and responses from the coach evidences learnings about the client at many different levels. And the coach also recognizes that both hers and the client's ability of intuitive and energetic perception that is felt when the client speaks of important things, when new growth is occurring for the client, and when the client is finding a more powerful sense of self. So that's going to be really important as well, right? So when a coach recognizes that the client's ability for intuition, it's something more, perception is something more. Now, the coach listening is also in the present, but hearing also the client's future development. So you're hearing beyond that and going past that and listening, hey, there's something more that the client's experiencing, there's something deeper there, there's something greater that we're trying to peer and peek into. And the next is so the coach hears the totality of the client's greatness and gives as well as the limiting beliefs and the patterns. So sometimes underlying all the different words that the client is saying, it's the greatness within. And that's what we're listening for. We're not listening to just the person with the complaints or the person with the performance issue. We're listening to the greatness, the hidden potential within the client. And we're trusting that there is something magical, something powerful there innate in the process. Next is that the coach listening is accumulative from session to session throughout each individual session. So we're listening across and we're listening deeper what's happening across all these sessions. It's going to be very important for us because it's going to be very helpful for us in the learning process. Now, that is at the mastery level. So I encourage you to read this to have a sense of what's really happening. Now in this video, we're just going to do a quick overview of what active listening is. In the subsequent videos, I'm going to go deeper in each one of this process. So stay tuned for more of these videos because we're going to break down what all these things mean and how do we actually apply them in our coaching context. And this will really help you in your coaching journey. Now, so I will encourage you, read the ICF core competencies, understand them a little bit more, reflect on them, ask questions, leave a comment below so that I know what ideas and what thoughts you have as well. And also, do remember to read your competency rating list as you're exploring and learning your journey for ACC, PCC, MCC level skilling. Now, at the end of the day, listening, it's not steps. Listening, it's definitely not in sequential as well. We're listening, and sometimes we're listening with imperfections. So we need to understand that how we listen today will impact the way we have conversation with others, will impact the way we question, will impact the way we create insights and inquiry into our client's world. So how do we practice this every day? I want to encourage you, every single day when you talk to someone, you're listening. Now, I want you to practice one of these skills. Are you listening to the words they're saying or listening to the emotions? Are you listening to something deeper on the inside of them? Take time to understand that. Take time to actually go deeper with the person. Take time to acknowledge their growth. Take time to acknowledge their progress because it's going to be a very important journey for the client to take. Now, Thanks so much for tuning in today. If you like what you see, do remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button and share this with your friends. And we're going to spread the word of coaching and the word of love to every single person. So until next time, stay tuned for more videos at Coaching Changes Lives.